It was supposed to be another ordinary day in the world of hip-hop's most admired couple. But what unfolded has left fans speechless. The industry's shaken and a family torn apart. Papoose, the man long praised for his loyalty and unwavering devotion to Remy Ma, has finally broken his silence after receiving news no husband ever wants to hear. Whispers of hospital visits, late-night breakdowns, and secret phone calls have already sent shockwaves across social media, but nothing could prepare anyone for the raw, heartbreaking confession he has just made. Witnesses close to the family reveal that when Remy's shocking diagnosis was confirmed, Papoose's world crumbled in an instant. His voice cracked as he admitted to truths he had kept buried for years, secrets that now threatened to overshadow his wife's health battle. "I tried to be strong, but I can't keep this inside anymore," he allegedly confessed, leaving fans wondering what could he possibly be hiding at such a vulnerable time. The air is thick with speculation. Friends are divided, and the hip-hop community is bracing itself for the storm ahead. Because when love, loyalty, and hidden pain collide, the truth is never simple. The moment Papoose stepped out of that hospital corridor, the weight of the world seemed to crush his shoulders. Fans who had always admired his strength and loyalty were stunned as the usually composed rapper struggled to hold back tears. Those close to the family whispered that it was not just Remy Ma's diagnosis that had shaken him, but also the guilt of secrets he had carried deep within his heart. Papoose has long been known as the backbone of their relationship. The man who stood by Remy during her darkest days behind bars, defending her name and protecting her legacy. But now, with Remy facing a health crisis that nobody saw coming, the cracks in his carefully built facade began to show. As one insider described, he looked like a man torn between fighting for his wife's life and confessing something that had haunted him for years. In those hospital halls, paparazzi lenses tried desperately to capture every flicker of emotion. Fans across social media speculated wildly, with hashtags about Remy's condition trending within minutes. Some prayed for her recovery, while others demanded answers about Papoose's mysterious confession. The atmosphere was electric, tense, and filled with fear of what might come next. Later that night, Remy was finally resting after her first round of treatment. Papoose was spotted pacing the hospital parking lot, phone in hand. According to a source, he was heard muttering under his breath, "I can't keep living like this. She deserves to know." Those words alone were enough to set off a firestorm of speculation. What truth could be so devastating that Papoose chose this exact moment when his wife was most vulnerable to bring it to light? The following day, Papoose sat by Remy's bedside. Her face, pale but determined, showed the strength fans had admired for decades. She reached out, holding his hand gently, and asked, "Baby, why do you look so broken?" That simple question tore through him like glass. He swallowed hard, his eyes red, and whispered, "Because I haven't been the man you thought I was, and it's killing me." Remy's eyes widened. She had faced betrayal in the industry, friends turning against her, even public scrutiny. But never had she imagined her husband, the man who had fought for her freedom and defended her name, would have something so heavy to confess. Before he could continue, her family entered the room. Cousins, siblings, and close friends flooded in with flowers and prayers, creating a scene of warmth and chaos that paused his confession. Papoose forced a smile, but his hand trembled in hers. Fans online later pointed out that in photos from that visit, his eyes looked distant, haunted, as though he was silently screaming for relief. As Remy drifted back to sleep surrounded by family, Papoose stepped out once more. That's when his longtime friend and fellow rapper, Fat Joe, cornered him in the hallway. "Bro, talk to me. You look like you're about to collapse. What's going on?" Papoose shook his head, but Joe pressed further. "I've known you for years. I know when you're holding something back. If this is about Remy, you need to handle it carefully. She needs strength right now, not more pain." Papoose's voice cracked as he admitted, "It's about her, but it's also about me. I've been hiding something for so long, and now with her diagnosis, I can't carry it anymore. If I don't say it now, I'll lose myself." Joe put a hand on his shoulder, urging him to breathe. "Look, whatever it is, timing is everything. Don't break her heart while she's fighting for her life. But if this secret is eating you alive, then you've got to find a way to balance the truth with her healing." Those words echoed in Papoose's mind for hours. As night fell, he sat alone in the hospital chapel, the dim light flickering above him. Tears streamed down his face as he prayed out loud. "God, I've stood by her through everything. I promised to be strong, but I failed her in ways she doesn't even know. If I confess now, I might destroy us. But if I don't, I'll never forgive myself." At that exact moment, a fan outside live streamed, capturing Papoose exiting the chapel, visibly shaken. The video went viral within minutes, sparking rumors of betrayal. Some speculated about infidelity, others whispered about hidden children, while a few believed it was tied to Remy's diagnosis itself. Inside the hospital room, Remy woke up the next morning and asked for Papoose immediately. She could sense the distance, the storm brewing within him. When he entered, she fixed her gaze on him and softly said, "Whatever it is, don't hide from me. I've fought battles bigger than this. I'd rather face the truth with you than be comforted with lies." Papoose broke down. His hands shook. As he cupped her face, whispering, "I love you more than life itself. But before you, I made mistakes. And those mistakes have been following me like shadows." Remy's voice trembled as she asked, "What mistakes, Papoose? Tell me now." But before he could answer, their daughter entered the room with a handmade card that said, "Get well soon, Mommy." The innocence of that moment shattered the tension, forcing Papoose to swallow his confession once again. He hugged their daughter tightly, his tears hidden in her hair, knowing he had bought himself only a little more time. Behind the scenes, family members were beginning to notice his strange behavior. Whispers spread quickly, some accusing him of crumbling under pressure, others convinced there was more to the story. Friends close to Remy admitted they were worried. One even told reporters, "Remy is strong, but Papoose is on the edge. Something's not right, and we're scared about what it means for both of them." As the days stretched on, the diagnosis hung over them like a dark cloud. Remy continued to fight bravely, while Papoose wrestled with the decision that could change everything. He rehearsed the confession in his head countless times, each version ending in disaster. "What if she never forgives me?" He whispered to himself one night, pacing in the hospital hallway. "What if I break her spirit when she needs it the most?" Little did he know, the family had already begun piecing together fragments of his torment. His late-night calls, his restless pacing, his tearful prayers, each clue painted a picture of a man burdened by something bigger than stress. The stage was set for a revelation. But the timing remained uncertain. Fans, friends, and even Remy herself could feel the tension building, waiting for the moment when the truth would finally come crashing down. And as the first chapter of this heartbreaking saga closed, one thing was clear: Papoose's confession was no longer a question of if, but when. The whispers grew louder with each passing day, and the family could no longer ignore the unease in Papoose's behavior. Every time he entered Remy's hospital room, his eyes avoided direct contact, his smile felt forced, and his hands trembled as though he was carrying a weight no one else could see. Fat Joe, who had been visiting almost daily, finally pulled Remy's brother aside. "Yo, I've known Pat for years, and I swear to you, something's eating him alive. This ain't just about stress. Man's hiding something." Remy's brother, already protective and quick to anger, clenched his fists. "If he's hurting my sister while she's in this condition, I'll never forgive him." Inside Remy's room, the atmosphere was gentler. Remy was recovering after another exhausting treatment. Her daughter lying curled next to her on the bed, she looked at Papoose and whispered, "Baby, you've always been my strength. I need you to promise me one thing. No matter what happens, don't shut me out." Papoose' throat tightened. He kissed her forehead and murmured, "I'll never leave you, Rem. Never." But inside, the storm only grew stronger. Later that evening, when the rest of the family had stepped out for dinner, Papoose sat beside Fat Joe in the hospital cafeteria. The sound of trays clattering and nurses calling out orders faded into the background as Joe leaned in. "Bro, I'm telling you straight. You can't keep this bottled up. Either tell me what's going on or you're going to explode." Papoose buried his face in his hands. "I made mistakes, Joe. Before Remy, I thought I was living the life. I thought I could juggle it, all music, the streets, the women. And when she came into my life, I promised myself I'd bury it forever. But now, with her diagnosis, it's like those ghosts won't let me breathe." Joe's eyes widened. "You telling me there's another woman? Another family?" Papoose didn't answer immediately. The silence said more than words ever could. Joe shook his head in disbelief. "Pap, you know, if Remy finds out now, while she's fighting for her life, it could crush her." "I know," Papoose whispered, "but I can't look at her every day and keep lying. She deserves the truth, even if it destroys me." What neither of them realized was that a cousin of Remy's had been sitting just a few tables away, overhearing every word. Within hours, the story had spread like wildfire through the family. By the time Papoose returned to Remy's room, eyes followed him like daggers. The next morning, Remy noticed the tension too. When her sister entered with breakfast, she avoided looking at Papoose. When her brother adjusted her blanket, he muttered something under his breath. Finally, Remy asked, "What's going on? Why are you all acting strange?" Her brother snapped, "Ask your husband." The room fell silent. Papoose froze, his heart pounding. Remy turned her eyes toward him, suspicion written across her face. "Pap, what is he talking about?" he stammered. "Rem, it's not what you think. I wanted to tell you myself, not like this." But her brother exploded. "Don't play dumb. The whole family knows you've been hiding something. Make her beg for the truth when she's lying in this bed fighting for her life." Tears welled in Remy's eyes. Her voice trembled as she asked again, "Papoose, please, tell me. I can handle the truth. What is it?" Before he could answer, their daughter rushed in holding a drawing, breaking the unbearable tension once again. Papoose used the distraction to step outside, his chest heaving with guilt. Outside the hospital, he was ambushed by fans and reporters demanding answers. "Is it true you've been hiding another family?" one shouted. "Are the rumors about betrayal true?" Another yelled. Papoose pushed through the crowd, his silence only fueling the frenzy. By the time he reached the hospital parking lot, his phone was buzzing nonstop with calls, texts, and notifications. Social media was ablaze with speculation. Hashtags calling him disloyal trended alongside prayers for Remy's recovery. That night, Remy confronted him again. Her eyes, sharp and unyielding despite her fragile condition, pierced into his soul. "Pap, I love you. I've always believed you were the one person in this world who would never lie to me. Don't let me go through this sickness doubting the only man I've trusted." He collapsed into the chair beside her, tears streaming down his face. "Rem, before you, I lived reckless. I thought I could erase that part of my past, but it came back to haunt me. I never cheated on you, but there's someone out there who might claim otherwise. And now, with you sick, I'm terrified the truth will come out and break us apart." Remy's hands shook as she held his. "So there is another woman?" "Not now," he insisted desperately. "Not during us, but before you. Yes, and I never told you because I thought it was buried. Now I hear whispers, I see rumors online, and I feel like I'm being hunted by my own past." Her voice cracked, filled with both anger and sorrow. "Pap, you should have told me years ago. Do you?" know how this feels. I'm fighting for my life, and now I have to question if my marriage has been a lie." The family, who had gathered outside the room, heard every word. Emotions erupted into chaos. Remy's brother stormed in, pointing a finger at Papoose. "Betrayed her? You betrayed all of us." Papoose shouted back, his voice shaking. "I never betrayed her. I've been faithful since the day we married. But yes, I made mistakes before her. I should have been honest. I was scared she'd leave me if she knew the whole truth." Remy broke down, sobbing into her hands. "I would have loved you anyway, Pap, but hiding it. Now it feels like you never trusted me." The room fell into a storm of arguments, accusations flying back and forth until nurses had to intervene, urging everyone to calm down for the sake of Remy's health. That night, Papoose left the hospital and sat in his car for hours, replaying every word in his mind. His confession had cracked the foundation of their marriage, but it wasn't even the full story yet, because deep down, he knew. There was still one detail he hadn't revealed, the part that would turn this already heartbreaking situation into a full-blown disaster. And as he drove home in silence, fans online dissected every rumor, every leaked whisper, convinced that the real confession had yet to come. The drive home that night was the longest journey Papoose had ever taken. The city lights blurred through the windshield as his mind replayed the confrontation in Remy's hospital room. He could still hear her sobs, see her trembling hands, and feel the piercing stares of her family. But what haunted him most was the knowledge that he hadn't told her everything. The secret still festering in his chest was far darker than anyone could imagine. When he finally pulled into their driveway, he sat in the car with the engine running, gripping the steering wheel so tightly that his knuckles turned pale. "I can't keep running from this," he whispered to himself. "If she hears it from someone else, it'll destroy us forever." The next morning, he returned to the hospital, determined to confess. But as soon as he entered Remy's room, he found her scrolling through her phone, tears in her eyes. Fans had flooded social media with accusations that Papoose had a secret child. A blog post had gone viral, claiming that an anonymous woman from his past was ready to come forward. Remy's voice was low but sharp as she asked, "Is it true? Pap, do you have a child I don't know about?" The words cut through him like glass. He sank into the chair, unable to look her in the eyes. "Rem, I wanted to tell you myself. Yes, there's someone out there, but it's complicated. I've never hidden money, I've never given her a place in my life, but before us, it happened, and I thought it was over." Ouch. Remy's body stiffened. "You mean to tell me that all these years, while I loved you with my whole soul, you kept another life from me?" "It wasn't another life," he pleaded. "It was a mistake before us. I swear, I've only been yours since we got together. But when you got sick, I couldn't stand the thought of you finding out through rumors. I wanted to tell you face to face." The room fell silent until Remy whispered, "Pap, I could forgive the past, but not the lies." Their daughter, sensing the tension, entered with a stuffed toy in her hands. Papoose quickly wiped his tears, forcing a smile. But Remy couldn't hide her pain. As their daughter hugged her, Remy's eyes locked on him with a mixture of anger and sorrow. Later that afternoon, Remy's brother confronted Papoose again in the hallway. "So it's true. You've got a secret kid out there?" Papoose nodded weakly. "I never meant for this to touch Remy. I was going to take it to the grave." Her brother shoved him against the wall, his voice raised. "You let her build her life around you, trust you, and stand by you through everything while hiding this. You don't deserve her." Nurses rushed over to break up the confrontation, but the damage was done. The family's trust in Papoose shattered completely. Word spread fast, and within hours, the press had already begun reporting that Papoose's heartbreaking confession was not just about Remy's diagnosis, but about a hidden child from his past. The backlash was swift. Fans flooded his social media with anger and disappointment. Some defended him, saying everyone has a past, while others called him a fraud for letting Remy dedicate her love to him under false pretenses. Remy herself was torn apart inside. That night, when they were finally alone, she turned to him and whispered, "Do you know what it feels like to hear this when I'm fighting for my life? I needed peace, Pap. I needed hope. Instead, you've given me doubts." Papoose grabbed her hand, tears running down his face. "Rem, I've loved you with everything I have. I never cheated, I never betrayed you after we became one. But yes, before you, I made mistakes. I was reckless, I was stupid, and I thought burying it would protect us. I was wrong. I'll take the blame, I'll take the hate, but please don't. Stop fighting. Don't let this destroy your will to live." Remy looked away, unable to speak. Her silence was louder than any words could be. The next day, Fat Joe visited again. Seeing the tension in the room, he sat beside Remy and tried to calm her. "Sis, I know it hurts. Listen, Pap's been loyal since you've been together. I've seen it with my own eyes. Yes, he kept a secret. And yes, it's breaking your heart. But don't let the internet decide your marriage. You need to talk this through before it tears you apart completely." Remy sighed, exhausted. "Joe, I don't even know who to trust right now. He was my anchor. Now I feel like I've been living in a story that wasn't even real." Outside, paparazzi swarmed the hospital, waiting for a glimpse of the couple. Fans chanted Remy's name, some showing support, others shouting accusations at Papoose. The entire hip-hop community watched closely, divided between sympathy and outrage. Then came the twist no one expected. Late that evening, Remy received a message from the anonymous woman herself. The message read, "I never meant to hurt you. I just want the truth to be known. He was there for me once, and that's all. I don't want money, I just want acknowledgement." Remy's hands shook as she showed the message to Papoose. So it's true, she exists. And she's not even asking for anything but honesty. Papoose's face turned pale. "Rem, I swear to you, it was one night, years before us. I never looked back. I never built a life with her. But yes, she had a child. I didn't know for sure if it was mine until rumors started spreading recently. I've been too scared to take the test, too scared of what it would mean for us." Remy's voice broke as she asked, "So not only did you hide it, you don't even know for sure? Pap, this is worse than I thought. All these years, while I was fighting battles in prison, battles in music, and now this battle with my health. You let me believe you were my one safe place. Now, even that feels uncertain." Papoose dropped to his knees beside her bed, sobbing. "Please, Rem, don't give up on me. Don't give up on us. I'll do whatever it takes. I'll take the test. I'll face the truth. I'll face the world. But don't let this be the end of us." Remy turned away, tears streaming down her face. "I don't know if I can, Pap. Right now, I need to fight for my life. And you've made me question whether fighting for us is even worth it." Night grew darker. Their love story hung by a thread. The family remained divided. Fans were in uproar. And the truth about the paternity test loomed like a ticking time bomb. And though Papoose had confessed part of his secret, the deeper question remained unanswered: was he really the father of this hidden child? And if so, how would Remy ever recover from this final blow? The tension around Remy's hospital room reached unbearable heights in the days that followed. Every visitor, every nurse, every glance between family members carried a weight of suspicion and unspoken questions. Fans outside continued to chant prayers for Remy's recovery, but online, the narrative had shifted almost completely. People debated not only her health battle, but also Papoose's hidden past. The pressure mounted until finally, Papoose agreed to what he had been avoiding. For years, the paternity test. The decision itself sent shockwaves through the family. Remy's brother immediately demanded, "So all this time you didn't even know? You kept my sister in the dark while hiding a maybe child." Papoose, exhausted and broken, responded softly, "I thought I was protecting her. I thought if I ignored it, the past would stay buried. But I was wrong." The test was arranged quietly, though nothing about it stayed quiet for long. Leaks from insiders hit social media within hours, with Blogs declaring that Papoose finally faces the truth and Remy Ma blindsided by possible secret child. Every headline dragged their private pain into the public spotlight, amplifying the humiliation. On the day the results were expected, Remy lay in her hospital bed staring out the window. Her strength, her fierceness, the very traits that had built her reputation seemed buried under layers of exhaustion and betrayal. When Papoose entered the room, she didn't even turn her head. "Rem," he whispered, approaching cautiously. Her voice was faint but sharp. "Do you know what hurts most, Pap? It's not even the possibility of another child. It's that you didn't trust me enough to share your truth. You let me love a version of you that wasn't real." He knelt beside her, tears welling in. His eyes. "I was scared. Scared you'd see me differently. Scared you'd leave. You were my blessing after years of chaos, and I didn't want to lose that." Her eyes finally met his, filled with both love and pain. "And now you might lose me anyway." Before the conversation could continue, a nurse knocked gently and handed Papoose a sealed envelope. The entire room seemed to freeze. Even the faint hum of medical machines felt louder in that moment. With trembling hands, Papoose opened the envelope. His eyes darted across the page, and his body sagged as though the weight of the world had just doubled. Remy stared at him, waiting, her heart pounding. "Pap," she whispered, "just say it." He looked up, tears falling freely. "It's true. The child is mine," Remy gasped, covering her mouth with her hand as sobs escaped her. The room spun with chaos as her family burst into shouts, accusations flying like daggers. Her brother slammed his fist against the wall. Her sister cried out in disbelief. "Okay?" And even Fat Joe, usually the peacemaker, could only shake his head in shock. Remy's voice cracked through the noise, sharp and broken. "After everything, Pap. After all the years I believed we were unshakable, you let me fight battles alone while hiding this truth?" Papoose dropped to his knees, clutching her hand. "Rem, please, was before you. I never cheated. I never disrespected our vows. But I should have told you I was wrong, and I'll carry that guilt forever. I love you, and I'll spend the rest of my life proving it if you'll let me." Her tears flowed freely. "Love isn't just about being faithful in the present, Pap. It's about honesty. You let me build my whole life on a foundation that wasn't complete." The family remained divided. Some urged Remy to cut ties immediately, convinced Papoose had betrayed her beyond repair. Others pleaded with her to consider the years of loyalty, the sacrifices he had made for her, and the fact that his mistake came before their union. The hospital room turned into a battlefield of voices, each one fighting for what they believed was right. Fans, too, were split. Some declared that Papoose was still the most loyal man in hip-hop, reminding the world of how he stood by Remy during her prison sentence. Others argued that his silence about the child proved he was no better than the men he always claimed to be different from. Hashtags trended worldwide, creating a storm that neither of them could escape. That night, when the chaos finally quieted and the room was dark, Remy turned to him one last time. Her voice was frail, but every word carried the weight of her soul. "Pap, I don't know if I can forgive you. I don't know if we'll survive this. But right now, my fight is for my life, not our marriage. I need space to heal, to think, to breathe without lies suffocating me." Papoose nodded, his heart shattering. "I'll wait for you, Rem. No matter what you decide, I'll be here. You're my everything." He kissed her hand, tears soaking her skin, and quietly left the room. Outside, he was met by reporters who shoved microphones in his face. But this time, instead of silence, he spoke. "I made mistakes in my past. Mistakes I should have confessed long ago. Remy is my queen, my heart, my soul. I'll take the blame, I'll take the hate, but don't let this overshadow her fight. Pray for her. She deserves every ounce of love the world can give." The clip spread across every platform within minutes, sparking debates, arguments, and endless commentary. But for Remy and Papoose, the world's opinions no longer mattered. What mattered was the truth now laid bare, and the uncertain road that lay ahead. And as Remy drifted to sleep that night, tears still wet on her cheeks, one haunting question remained. Could love built on years of loyalty survive the weight of a hidden past, or had Papoose's heartbreaking confession sealed their fate forever? As this chapter of Remy Ma and Papoose's story comes to a close, the world is left with more questions than answers. Remy continues her brave fight against her diagnosis. But now her strength is tested not only by her health, but also by the weight of her husband's heartbreaking confession. Fans are torn, families are divided, and the hip-hop community is buzzing louder than ever. Papoose has admitted his truth. And while many sympathize with his loyalty over the years, others argue that his silence about the secret child was a betrayal too deep to forgive. Remy herself has yet to make a final decision about their marriage, leaving millions of supporters wondering if love can truly survive such a devastating revelation. And now, the question falls to you. Was Papoose's confession a sign of true love and honesty? Or was it too little, too late? Should Remy Ma forgive him for the mistakes of his past? Or is this the kind of secret that can never be overlooked? This story is far from over, and the next chapter could bring even more shocking twists. Will Remy's health battle draw them closer together? Or will the truth finally tear them apart? Only time will tell. But one thing is certain: fans around the world will be watching, waiting and hoping for answers. If you've been gripped by this emotional roller coaster, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you don't miss a single update. And most importantly, let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Do you believe in forgiveness, or do you think some secrets are unforgivable? Your opinion matters, and we can't wait to hear from you.